All right. Yeah, this is very interesting, Bill. I'll have you play just a few minutes. What I want to say is the word Mormon is coming back like a speeding train. We've talked about it before, but last week, more than ever, I have seen it. And I want you guys to beware and start watching for me and sending me stuff. These are the Paris twins.
However costly.
Oh, gosh. The Paris twins, they are interviewing people. Here we go.
That was close, Bill. That could have been dangerous.
That was scary.
I'm a Mormon.
I'm a Mormon.
I'm a Mormon. I'm a Mormon.
I'm a Mormon.
I'm a Mormon.
I'm a Mormon.
We are Mormon. I'm a Mormon. We are Mormon.
I am Mormon. I'm a Mormon. I am Mormon. I'm a Mormon. I'm a Mormon.
I am a Mormon.
Okay, it goes on and on. You can stop. And at the end, the host who's interviewing everybody, one of the Paris twins, he says, "We are Mormons and we are members and we are the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints." I was really surprised. I had to look at the date on that. I'm like, is this current? Of course it's current. It's the Paris twins. If we go to the slides.
What are Paris twins? What are you talking about?
They are two very attractive young men who are out there interviewing, making content. They're social media influencers for the church, and they have outrageous French accents, and all the girls are going crazy. Anyway, yeah. So here's Jasmine. I came across this. Do you catch what I'm seeing there, RFM?
Speaking of girls going crazy.
Yeah, girls going crazy. Yeah. Do you catch what I'm seeing there? Where is it? It's so small I can't see it. There's a place where she says LDS/Mormon. There it is, right there in the second line. Yeah. Yes. Do you see that? Isn't that interesting? LDS/Mormon. You would not see that. Even I think last year. And I will say in that video that you just showed in the comments, like 500 comments, a lot of people are like, "You're not Mormon. You're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints." Other people are saying, "Proud to be Mormon." Somebody criticized my take on that video by saying, "Those are all young people. How would they know?" Those people should know more than ever. They have absolutely spent their entire growing up years under the "we do not say Mormon," haven't they? What year was that? 2018? They've spent all of their growing up years not saying Mormon, and yet now they are choosing to say Mormon. So I'm telling you, it's a thing. Here's another video, a lovely mom who's kind of off camera there. She's taking her kids to church. She's starting a new thing, Meet the Mormons. She's going to show you what church is like. Here we are. We're the Mormons, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I'm telling you, the word is coming back. I want everybody to get out there and send me anything that you find.
It's like President Nelson never lived.
It's like the words of old prophets, like old comic books and classic cars. That's right. So it really got me thinking about the word Mormon. It got me thinking about John's lawsuit. And I really feel the crux behind it is getting that dang word back, getting that hashtag back. And I had ChatGPT kind of look at Mormon influencers like the Paris twins, people that put out content. They do not shy away from hashtag Mormon or Mormon church or Mormon member or Mormon ward. They use it because they know that is what people are searching for. They also use latter day, this and that. You can freeze on this at some point if you want, but the influencers themselves understand SEO wise. We all said it back when they tried to do away with it. That word lives on forever. And I believe that the LDS church wants it back. Or should I say the Mormon church? Now, this is a little graph that I came up with. I posted it a while ago. Let me see if I can get a little closer here on this. This has to do with what does the LDS church claim at Ask Mormon Stories and John DeLynn to do to avoid a lawsuit? And to me, this is the whole key, proving that what they really want is that word Mormon. So, of course, when they talked about mediation, the church put out a statement that said, why was it unsuccessful? It said the primary issue is the ongoing confusion about whether Mormon Stories is affiliated with the church. To address that, the church proposed a simple solution, a brief disclaimer that the podcast is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is a common and straightforward way to help audiences understand the source of content. That step was not addressed, which is a lie. As a result, the likelihood of confusion remains, and the church moved forward to protect the trademark with legal action. So based on some interviews that John did, I tried to lay it all out, what the church asked, and then what was just too far, and what John or any reasonable person who runs a podcast or has a presence on social media would do. So the church said, change your logo from blue to something else. Right away, John DeLynn immediately changed his logo to orange. The church says incorporate a disclaimer that Mormon Stories is not affiliated with the LDS Church or all the Mormon Stories assets. Right away, John DeLynn incorporated the disclaimer into the description of all of their assets. Request from the church, take the Christus out of the Mormon Stories YouTube banner. Right away, John DeLynn immediately took the Christus out of his banner. Other request, take any copyrighted images being used on Mormon Stories thumbnails out. Immediately, John DeLynn went back 3 years and took out anything he thought might be a copyright issue. Now, these things don't have a lot to do with the word Mormon. They all have to do with, the light rays, the color, the Christus, the copyrighted images. Now, look over here, the things that they ask him to do, according to John, according to what he remembers from mediation and has described on other podcasts. These things all do have a lot to do with the word Mormon. And these, if you know anything about SEO or, hashtags or being an influencer, you're going to understand how just beyond the pale these are. So these are the things that they ask him to do. Include a legible disclaimer in the text of the YouTube banner. So when you go to Mormon Stories, there's a huge, ticker tape. We are not the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. John and his team said that's too much. Change the Mormon Stories logo to read Ex-Mormon Stories with Dr. John DeLynn and use only specific fonts approved by the church. So they're still saying you can use the word Mormon, but it must be ex-Mormon. You don't get that word Mormon anymore. People can't search you using that word Mormon, right? Third thing, include an audio disclaimer at the beginning of each Mormon Stories episode. So he would have to verbally say, welcome to Mormon Stories. We are not affiliated with the church. I mean, how many of us start out our podcast by telling somebody what we are not, right? But they have to create the distance. And again, these are all things that John and his team said, this is ridiculous. Next thing, a disclaimer must be repeated every 15 to 20 minutes throughout each entire Mormon Stories episode. Have to stop, have to play a tape, or have to say verbally, we are not part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Renounce any trademark rights to Mormon Stories name. Can't use Mormon anymore. Again, I feel it's because they're trying to claim it. Never file for any trademarks on the Mormon Stories name. You can never own any part of that word Mormon or Mormon Stories ever again. Never challenge any of the LDS trademarks, right? These things are just beyond if you know what they're asking here. And finally, never create a project again on the internet that uses the word Mormon. So these are things that John and his team said, this is just too much. And to me, this indicates that they really are trying to get that word Mormon back over on their side. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's interesting. I've just seen it creep in everywhere. And when I went over those listed demands that had to do with no trademarks and never again creating anything, I just thought, are they undoing all the good works that President Nelson did?
It strikes me that they're maybe actually helping John's case here. In the video, for instance, and I think the church does it this way as well, the church is allowing members to refer to themselves as Mormons. But when it came time at the end of that clip for them to explain what church they're part of, I'm Mormon, we're Mormon, he's Mormon, they're Mormon, we're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I think the church, in its use that way, if it has any connection, if there could be demonstrated there's any connection to these videos and the other things like Jasmine, for instance, what the church is doing is giving approval that outside of it as an entity, all the people who have experience in Mormonism can call themselves Mormons, but that the church should be referred to as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And that would seem to indicate that the word Mormon is a general term that everyone has potential ownership of.
No, that's a great observation. It's the best of both worlds. A person can be a Mormon, but you're a Mormon who is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So it's kind of a workaround, but you're right. It puts it back in the realm of it's just common usage. RFM, what do you think?
Well, I think, first off, I would never have agreed to anything until it was resolved as to what will be done and what won't be done. Okay. Because when you run out and immediately comply with conditions, what you end up doing is taking them off the table as chips to negotiate with later. It doesn't seem like it would be that way. You would think you'd say, oh, well, I just did these 4 things and you've got all it. That's just not psychologically the way it works. You don't do anything until an agreement is struck as to what will be done and what will not be done. Otherwise, you can end up in a position like this. Now, the other thing I think about is these are ridiculous requests over there in red. Absolutely ridiculous. The thought that comes to me is, who the hell do these guys think they even are? The church is obviously too big for its britches. It's time for it to be cut down to size. And it's times like this that I am proud to be Radio Free Mormon. That's what I have to say.
Solidarity.